1 is Boreen Prince, ridden by Boots Madden. 2, Brave Bazaar, Richard Rowe. 3, Broadsword, Peter Scudamore. 4, Seamer, Sam Moorshead. 5, Comedian, Steve Smith-Eccles. 7, Daring Run, Frank Berry. 9, Donegal Prince, Phil Tuck. 8, Ekbalco, John Joe Neal. 7, I should have said Donegal Prince. 8, Ekbalco, John Joe Neal. 9, Fane Ranger, Tommy Carmody. 10, For Auction, Mr. Colin Magnier. 11, Gay Brief, Richard Lindley. 12, Halen, Steve Jobar. 13, Lula, Fuel Davis. 14, Migrator, John Burke. 15, Miller Hill, Tom Morgan. 17, Royal Vulcan, John Frankham. And 18, Sulabula, Mr. Tim Easterby.
And news is that all the jockeys... He's the second favourite now, trained at Newmarket. Peter O'Sullivan spoke to his trainer, Neville Callaghan.
Neville, your horse Royal Vulcan looks spot on. Are you really pleased with him?
Very pleased indeed with him. He looks well, he's never been better.
When did he come to Cheltenham?
He came on Sunday and he loves being away. He went to Leopardstown on the Wednesday for the Saturday race and was very happy away from home.
Have you had a runner in the Champion before?
No, I haven't.
Do you give him a real good chance?
I do. The ground's good and I think everything's right for him and he's improving, and that's really, I think an improving horse can beat the elder horses.
This was one of the 5 Irish challengers, Daring Run, who's now at 25 to 1 shot, having started a warm favourite just 12 months ago. Well, his trainer is Peter McCreary.
Peter, well, you're having a third crack with Daring Run. Very unlucky last year, of course, he slipped up. How do you account for his poor running last time, though, in Ireland?
Well, we hope we solved the problem that we thought it was exhaust from the box. But, that might be, we might be only surmising that, but we hope that was the reason. Of course, there's a lot of horses running very indifferently in Ireland, and not alone in Ireland, but my stable too, like horses ran in and out.
Yeah.
The horse that won on Saturday and he had pulled up a fortnight ago. So it might have been that problem, I don't know, but I hope so.
For Auction, meanwhile, was just led out this morning. Well, Jonathan Powell spoke to his owner and trainer, first asking his trainer, Michael Cunningham, how well this time the favourite had travelled over from Ireland.
Oh, we have had a great travel this time. He's had no hold-ups and he's eaten up and everything looks set for today.
How worried are you that he hasn't won since the Champion Hurdle 12 months ago?
We're not particularly worried. His Sweeps Hurdle forum of 8 weeks back was a tremendous run and with top weight, and that shows that he's on course for Cheltenham, and we're delighted with him anyway.
And since then, of course, he's been rather strongly beaten by Royal Vulcan at Leopardstown.
Yes, it was a slow run race and I'd ignore that run. You'd have to if he had any hope of winning today. So I would go on a Sweeps Hurdle run.
Some people were worried about his jumping.
No, I wouldn't worry about his jumping. He was just unlucky at Leopardstown that he made a mistake at the second last hurdle. It can happen any horse, and it was just one of those odd mistakes that can happen.
And since then, what have you done with him?
We've given him 2 good workouts on the track, one over hurdles and the other on the flat, and we were delighted with him.
Well, Dano, a year ago, after your horse won the Champion Hurdle, you bought 100 bottles of champagne. Will you be celebrating tonight?
Well, hopefully, and there's a lot of people in the hotel are hoping that we'll win also. We're all very hopeful, and the horse is in great form, and fair dues to Michael Cunningham. He has him in the #1 spot. He's in perfect condition and in great shape.
And I gather last year you ran round the course at some stage just to see what For Auction would face.
Well, I was in the vicinity on business and with my wife, and I do a lot of road running, so I said, why not have a look at the course and see what all these poor unfortunate horses have to do. So I did run around the track, and it's not until you come to the bottom of the hill and you look up and you see what they have to contend with, how good a horse has to be to win here.
And the one that is good enough wins this marvellous Challenge Cup, which the owner holds until February the 12th, 1984. Well, once again, For Auction is at the head of the market. Here he is in the paddock, looking in the peak of fitness. And here once again, our paddock commentator, Richard Pittman.
And doesn't he look well? Look, he's almost goose-stepping as he goes around there at the walk, and that's always a very good indication that a horse is well. I met his trainer coming in today, Michael Cunningham, and he assured me that he has never had him better. Well, although For Auction hasn't won since, or hasn't won this season, I think that Connections could very easily be back in that winning spot again. He certainly has been produced for the day. That's not to say that they haven't wanted to win earlier on. It was a very slow race in Leopardstown. He didn't jump too well there at all. I'd forgive him that when, in fact, he was behind Royal Vulcan. This is one of the most open and interesting champion hurdles for a long time, but I still row in with the favourite For Auction. Credit to Michael Cunningham, he looks really brilliant. For Auction, Ekbalko 3-1 joint favourites, 4-1 bar. And there is Daring Run. Well, he's been here several times, and what bad luck. Last year's champion hurdle went slipping up on the far side of the course. I'm not sure what on earth he did, but he was on the inside, and the next minute he was down. Daring Run ran a terrific race at Leopardstown, the Wessel Industries and hurdle, when finishing second to Royal Vulcan, finishing front of For Auction. Not so impressive last time out, but again stripping very fit and well. Peter McCreary, I saw him this morning out on the gallops, and he expressed himself completely happy that he's come in here as fit as he can be. This horse has always been amongst the top of the hurdlers, and I hope that he proves he's still there. Let's see how they bet.
For Auction and Ekbalko, the joint favourites, 3-1. Royal Vulcan, 4-1. Gay Brief, 7s. Broadsword, 10-1. Fane Ranger, 14-1. Daring Run is 16-1. On 20-1, two of them, Miller Hill and Sula Bula. Halen, 25-1. Seema, 33-1. Migrator, 40s. Boreen Prince, 50-1. Brave Huzzah is 66-1. Donegal Prince, 100-1. Comedian and Lulav, 200-1. That's a full show.
Ekbalko, and like several of the other runners in this race, jumping out of his skin. I must say that the trainers have produced them on the day just right. And of course, the weather helps a lot of things. If it's pouring with rain, nobody feels very great. Well, this one is absolutely prime. Roger Fisher, I came in from the car park with him this morning, and he expressed himself happy. He just would have liked to race in between. The bad weather intervened, and he had to stick a good bit of work into this horse at home. A very thick set type of horse, and I think that the strong gallop may be against him. My own opinion is that he just barely lasts home, and if they really do go ding-dong, and I think they might do with the 3 confirmed front runners and a pacemaker for Broadsword, it may just find this horse out. But I must say, a lovely horse, and if he ever goes to fences, well, that's what he's made for, isn't he? But a very fine hurdler, and John Joe Neal chose this one instead of Royal Vulcan. This is the horse that he forsake for Ekbalko. I just wonder how much of a choice he actually did have in the end, because of course he rides a lot for Roger Fisher, and you have to look forward to a lot more of the season than one race. Royal Vulcan, well, he has thickened, he has strengthened since last year. He was a boy last year, he is a man now, and he's got a man on his back in John Frankham. John, well, not had any luck in the first 2 races, but there are a lot of battles to go yet. The first few battles have been lost, but the war isn't over. What a lovely horse this is, and unbeaten this season. Well, he's done everything that's been asked of him, and look at that walk again, almost like For Auction. He's flicking that toe out. I'm sure it's the sun on their back, you know. They really do love it. Well, don't we all? Royal Vulcan, trained by Neville Callahan, and a very live contender. Just following on behind him was Sula Bula, but there we see 15. 15 is Miller Hill. Miller Hill, if you'll remember, just 1 year ago, he was triumphant here, beating Ryman For Auction, 11-4 favourite from 3-1 joint, 7-2 bar. But this horse, trained by Desi Hughes last year, stormed up the hill. Connections didn't think that he would get the trip in that very soft ground, because if you cast your memory back 12 months, it was touch and go whether we were going to race here, because they'd rained overnight 8 hours. He's 25-1 from 20s, and it was a quagmire. But a very nice horse this, indeed, and I expect him to put up a fair show, although I'd be surprised to see him winning it. Nice sort, and he'll go on to win a lot more races. In the colours of Sheikh Ali Abu Kamsin. The first colours, this is Gay Brief, ridden by Richard Lindley. The Sheikh has 2 runners in this race, and Gay Brief, trained by Mercy Rymel. He's a brother to the good chaser Gay Chance, who we'll be seeing in action in the Sun Alliance chase, and a winner of 8 of his 10 races over hurdle, including 4 this season. Well, besides winning several other races, he won the Fred Rymel Memorial at Hereford. Well, that was a super thing. Gay Brief is 13-2 4th favourite from 7-1. So, as Richard Lindley takes Gay Brief out, let's have a full show betting.
For auction, 11-4, Ekbalco 7-2, Royal Vulcan 4-1. Gay Brief is on 13-2 from 7s, Broadsword 12-1, that's going out, Fane Ranger and Daring Run 16-1, Miller Hill and Sulabula 25-1 from 20s, Halin and Seema 33-1, Migrator 40-1, Boreen Prince 66-1, same price as Brave Hussar, Donegal Prince is 100-1 still, Comedian and Lulav are still the 200-1 outsiders.
So they're coming out. There is a parade for this race. Donegal Prince just going out. Ekbalco and the ever-smiling John Joe O'Neill never stops, does he? There's little John Joe, everybody's favourite. Little Jenny Moffat leading the horse up as well. Absolutely devoted to this horse. Her husband with her, Dudley Moffat, who is assistant trainer to Roger Fisher, does a very good job up there too. But there is a parade for this race, and they are being preceded by the master of the North Cotswold, Roy Tatlow. He's nearest to us. He's riding McLeod, and Peter Barker, his kennel huntsman, on Jacob on the far side. Well, aren't they 2 fine-looking hunters? You'd certainly like to be galloping across the middle of Cheltenham Racecourse on these 2. You'd meet the rails and pop it with no bother at all. Turned out impeccably. So, Boreen Prince leading the runners out. Andy McNamara is gelding this by Boreen out of a St. Crispin mare. Boreen Prince, half a length winner of the quite valuable handicap at Leopardstown in October, and a Fairyhouse one in December. Ekbalco for auction, 3-1 joint favourites, and it's 4-1 bar. Boreen Prince ridden by Boots Madden, and Boots having rather a slow season, but he's picking up now. Brave Hussar who's come good of late. This one ridden by Richard Rowe, and he's certainly improved no end. Not always the most trustworthy of customers. Number 3, Broadsword. Well, this one's taken some stick, and so is his trainer David Nicholson, but I'm a supporter of this fellow, and I think he'll be running on up the hill. A really stiff gallop. Peter Skew in the saddle. Number 4 is Seema. Jim Old trains this one at Bristol, not very far away, and isn't this horse well? Seema almost did the splits in his last run when finishing behind Migrator and Broadsword. He'll be closer. Number 5 is Comedian, the pacemaker for Broadsword, and there's another Comedian in the saddle, a great joker in the weighing room, and that is Steve Smith-Eccles. Number 6, Daring Run, big, strong horse this, isn't he? Well, I like him, and so does his trainer, but I wonder if his chance has gone now. He's an 8-year-old. Frank Berry in the saddle. Number 7 is Donegal Prince, winner of the Sweps a year ago, and this one trained by Paul Kellaway. Horse that likes to bowl along in front. You've got to keep him interested, keep everyone snapping at his heels. Then Ekbalco, he's really jumping out of his skin, isn't he? Well, that's the way to have him. This is the big day for Ekbalco, and he's unlucky to be beaten at all this season, having fallen at Newcastle. Fane Ranger from Ireland, a horse that was very fancied for a long, long time, but just went slightly wrong for a while. I remember reading in the press that there was some doubt as to his participation, but lucky to see him back here, or nice to see him back here, trained by Noel Mead, ridden by Tommy Carmody. And there he is for auction, ridden by the amateur Mr. Colin Magnier, and Colin, one of the best. He's certainly good enough, and for auction looks as fit as a flea. Number 11, this is Gay Brief, Richard Lindley. Fine-looking horse, this, from a very good family. In fact, one of his very much older brothers runs later on, Artistic Prince, in the amateur riders race. Number 12, Halin, you've seen him here a few times, haven't you? Very unpredictable, and so anything goes for this fella, ridden by Steve Jobar, and don't be surprised if you see this one storming up the hill at a long price. Number 13, Lulav, the third of David Nicholson's runners. There's his head lad on the far side, Lynn Burrows, just ensuring that everything goes fine, taking no chances, but Lulav got a lot to do today. 14 is Migrator, in running in the second colours of Sheikh Ali Abu Khams in the white cap. This horse loves fast ground. It may not be fast enough, but it's certainly good enough for him to run well. He beat Broadsword last time out, and that was at Wincanton. Miller Hill, winner here a year ago, very much on his toes. He beat Ryman on that occasion, but this is a very different thing. This is the hurdling crown. Royal Vulcan, well, his coat just standing on end a little bit, but isn't he proud there? Look at his mane in the wind and his head high. A very proud horse. He's done exceptionally well this season. Much different horse to last year. And 18, last but definitely not loose, Sulabula loves to bowl along in front. The front runners are Sulabula, Migrator, and of course Comedian will be up there. It's going to be fast and furious. Little colt this one, and there is some indication of the popularity of racing at a meeting like this. Well, I should like to be taking half the gate money home with me today. Those stands, they won't be there for too long. Another phase of planning shortly to go underway, and that is the hill. Look at the crowd on the lawn. The stands are full, the lawns are full, and I can tell you that's a pretty awesome sight when you land in front over the last and faced with that lot shouting their head off. It certainly is too much for some horses. So as the runners come down to look at the first, we'll update you with some results.
Cheltenham, the 235. First, number 12, Ryman, 16 to 1. Second, number 5, Borean Door, 33 to 1. And third, number 15, the Tsarevich, 16 to 1. Now for the tote prices. For a win, £26 exactly. In places, £4.30, £4.60 and £4.20. Straight forecast, £390.46. And the dual forecast, £1,072.90. Sedgefield, the 215. First, number 15, Shuey, 10 to 1. Second, number 11, Pericolo Ludus, 10 to 1. Third, number 4, Gun, 7 to 1. And fourth, number 32, Strathmanor, 25 to 1. And the 250, first, number 22, Newcliffe Connection, 9 to 2. Second, number 12, Great Tarquin, 14 to 1. And third, number 9, Fine Steel, 11 to 8 on favourite. Now some betting from Cheltenham. For Auction and Ekbalco are the joint favourites still, 3 to 1. Royal Vulcan, 4 to 1. Gay Brief, 13 to 2. Broadsword, 12 to 1. Fine Ranger, or Fane Ranger, 14 to 1. A Daring Run, 16s. A gap then to Miller Hill and Sulabula on 25s. Halin and Seema and Migrator are 33 to 1. Borean Prince and Brave Hussar, 66 to 1. Donegal Prince, 100 to 1. Lulav, 200 to 1. And Comedian has gone out to 400 to 1.
So if you fancy a long shot, there you are. Comedian running in the colours of Mrs. Gerald Benny for the first time. She's bought a half share in him. But there, well, there's the horse himself. The joint favourite, Seema, 25 to 1 from 33. So a little bit of late money there for Jim Old's horse, running in the colours of Roddy Padmore. But for Auction, with that distinctive noseband and headband, I do think that's a rather nice touch for an owner to have his colours in those brow bands and nose bands. Just perks the job up a bit. And after all, this is a fair slice of show business racing as well as being serious business. He is a nice horse. He galloped yesterday. He just came out for a walk this morning. Didn't consider he needed to open his pipes. Very active type of horse. Joint favourite there, standing still with his back to us, Ekbalco. Ekbalco, who's got this amazing turn of speed. I just wonder if they'll make John Joe stretch by going a good gallop. I hope that they will go a good gallop. I like to see a true pace in a race, and that should suit every single horse. But Ekbalco, a blistering turn of foot. John Joe will probably lie handy on him. He's got a whole army of relations over here today. There are more O'Neills on the course than any other family, I would think. He's got 3 brothers, all look alike if they had their helmets, and well, they're all shouting for him. Fane Ranger in the green, number 9 there. He, I believe, pulled some shoulder muscles some time ago. The red hat, the green colours, and the behind Halin. And shoulder muscles, not easy to get right. John Frankham and Royal Vulcan riding for Neville Callahan. This horse who went off the boil last season, but look at him now. Doesn't he look well? Neville, who ran him early on in the season, put him away and has prepared him for today. Today is the day. Very impressive in Ireland in the slowly run Westall Industries handicap there, where he produced a lot of form. No other runner in it from 2 out. But we have some more betting for you.
For Auction and Ekbalco still joint favourites 3-1. Royal Vulcan 9-2 now from 4s. Gay Brief 13-2. Broadsword and Fane Ranger 12-1. Daring Runners 16s on 25-1. Miller Hill, Sulabula and Seamer. Halen and Migrator 33-1. Boreen Prince and Brave Hussar 66-1. Donegal Prince 100-1. Lulav 200-1 and Comedian 500-1.
And these riders will be getting very excited now. They do this sort of thing day in, day out, 6 times a day and 6 days a week, but it is a big, big race. It's a great honour, too, to win this race. 34,500, nearly 35,000 going to the winner. John Frankham, well, he knows what it's all about, but you can still see very serious, because this is a serious business. He's thinking, how can he outdo the other runners? What's he got up his sleeve that the others don't know about? All their idiosyncrasies are pretty well known to each other, but they're just hoping for something new. I'm sure they're all expecting a fast gallop. I wonder if the front runners will pull a fast one and not go fast by Doddle-on. There is Colin Magnier, rides very short, you can see, almost kneeling on his horse's withers, isn't he? But a very able man. If he were to turn pro, he'd hold his own amongst them. Well, he produced the horse just right last year. I wonder what he's going to do today. But you see here the difference between this race. There's not a lot of talking going on between them, is there? Normally they're laughing and joking. There's Tommy Carmody looking down, very serious. For Auction, Ekbalco 3-1 joints. Royal Vulcan 5-1 from 9-2. Gay Brief 13-2. Broadsword 12s, as is Fane Ranger, and 16-1 Bar. But I do think this just does tell you how serious a job the big races are. Not one of them talking to each other. Steve Jobar looking at the ground. What on earth am I going to do to conjure Halin up to get his best? And Halin with his ears pricked, and Lulav there with Hule Davis, a bit of a plaster on his face. Gay Brief 7-1 fourth favourite from 13-2. So, with these serious jockeys pulling their glasses for a serious business, let's join Peter.
Thank you, Richard, who won this race, incidentally, in 1974 on Lanzarote. Now, Captain Dick Smalley, across towards his rostrum. He's about to put the 17 runners under starters' orders, the 1983 Waterford Crystal Champion Hurdle. The white flag up, they're under starters' orders, and they're away. And Migrator and Comedian, the first to show, from Fane Ranger, and Comedian going on, being tracked by his stable companion Broadsword as they come to the first of the 8 flights. Comedian, Migrator, Sulabula between horses. Over on the far side, Broadsword, just in behind him, Donegal Prince and Seamer, and then comes Gay Brief, and then Lulav, and For Auction and Daring Run, Fane Ranger. And the back marker at the moment is Halin, and also in rear is Royal Vulcan. And racing now towards the second, Comedian. Comedian's rider looking over his left shoulder to see if Peter Scudamore is tracking him on Broadsword, and he is. Sulabula's up with the leaders. Migrator comes next, and then Gay Brief, and then comes Donegal Prince and Seamer, and For Auction behind. For Auction is Lulav, and then Fane Ranger, Brave Hussar, Miller Hill, and For Auction. Halin still the back marker. Boreen Prince in rear, and so's Daring Run, and Sulabula now going on. Sulabula and Timmy's to be taken up from Comedian, then Broadsword, then Migrator, then Donegal Prince behind them For Auction, then Gay Brief on the inside of Fane Ranger, then Lulav, then Seamer on the inside, then comes Daring Run. Behind Daring Run is, who got a reminder there, is Brave Hussar, then comes Ekbalco and Royal Vulcan together, behind them Miller Hill, and then Boreen Prince, and finally Halin running downhill to the third flight, and Comedian gone up again to join Sulabula. Right up with them is Broadsword, then comes Migrator, Donegal Prince, For Auction, Gay Brief, Seamer on the inside. Over this one, Comedian, Sulabula and Broadsword on the inside. In fact, going on now, Broadsword. Then Donegal Prince in fourth. Behind them comes Seamer, and then For Auction on the outside. Behind them, Gay Brief. And making progress towards the outer is Daring Run now. And Halin is the back marker, coming down to the fourth. And it's Broadsword in the lead from Sulabula and Migrator. Then Gay Brief on the inside. Then Daring Run on the outer with For Auction. and Royal Vulcan making ground. John Frankham on the inside. Ekbalko not far behind him. Racing right over the far side now in the champion hurdle, and it's Sulabula and Broadsword matching strides from Daring Run, who's gone third. Gay Brief is 4, Seamus 5. Fane Rangers going up on the outside to jump 6. Behind them come Royal Vulcan, and they're racing now towards the top of the hill. And as they do so, it's Sulabula, Broadsword, Gay Brief, Fane Ranger, Daring Run. Behind them comes Seema, then For Auction. Behind For Auction is Royal Vulcan, and then Lulaf. Running downhill now, Ekbalko and Royal Vulcan have got a lot to do. They're coming down now towards the third last flight, and it's Broadsword in the lead from Sulabula, Fane Ranger, Gay Brief. Behind them comes Seema, Ekbalko, Royal Vulcan on the inside, For Auction on the far side, and there it was Broadsword in the lead from Sulabula, Fane Ranger, Gay Brief, Boreen Prince. Behind them For Auction, coming to the second last flight now, and it's Broadsword on the inside, narrowly in the lead from Sulabula, then Gay Brief coming there very strongly on the inside too, and it's Gay Brief now on the inside who takes it up as they race towards the final flight. Gay Brief has taken it up from Broadsword, then comes Boreen Prince and Sulabula. Gay Brief has gone clear though as they come to the last. Richard Lindley on Gay Brief, he's going to jump it 4 lengths clear. Gay Brief lands in the lead, he hits it hard, gets away with it. Boreen Prince next, then comes Broadsword, Sulabula, For Auction, Ekbalko finishing fast, but Gay Brief striding up towards the line, being pressed by Boreen Prince, but he's going to hold him, and as they race towards the line, Gay Brief is going to win the champion hurdle. Boreen Prince is going to be second. It's going to be a photo for third between Ekbalko and For Auction. For Auction and Ekbalko for third in a photo, but Gay Brief the winner from Boreen Prince, and a tremendous triumph this for Mrs. Mercy Rymel, the First Lady, to train the winner of the champion hurdle, and the result of the 1983 champion hurdle. First, number 11, Gay Brief, owned by Sheikh Ali Abu Kamsin, trained by Mrs. Mercy Rymel and ridden by Richard Lindley. Second was number 1, Boreen Prince, owned by Mr. W.J. Lenihan, trained by Andrew McNamara and ridden by Niall Madden. And it's a photo for third place, a photo between For Auction and Ekbalko, with right up with them Broadsword. A close photo all right for third place, but no doubt about the 1-2. Gay Brief, a most convincing winner. Here's how he won it as we review it with Richard Bittman.
And there was only one winner in it coming down the hill. This horse was simply running away. Richard Lindley slipped through on the inside, and a big striding horse, now he goes for home. This was the last horse that the late Fred Rymel ever bought, and well, how many of his friends would love him to have been here today to see him win? Mercy Rymel, his widow, what a great triumph to have produced this one. Going to the last, he wants a good jump and he doesn't get it. He puts a short one in, lands awkwardly, and oh, so easily could have damaged himself there. But he's got a bit of leeway, he's got a bit up his sleeve, and goes on there from Boreen Prince. You can see Broadsword rattling on there. He'd had to make his own running after a while. It wasn't fast enough for him. Sulabula running on again, and For Auction, who'd been off the bride for a long, long way, upsides with the co-favourite Ekbalko. But there's only one winner, Richard Lindley, stylishly pushing him home for his 42nd win of the season. It's also Mercy Rymel's 42nd. Boreen Prince running on to be a fine second, and very close for third. In fact, it's For Auction, just short heading, I would think, Broadsword and Ekbalko. Sulabula next.
Richard Lindley gives the thumbs up sign after riding the 7-1 fourth favourite Gay Brief to win the 1983 Waterford Crystal Champion. What a marvellous family this is. This mare, Artist Gay, has produced so many winners. And For Auction officially placed third, and fourth Broadsword. So let me just recap the full official result. First, number 11, Gay Brief, owned by Sheikh Ali Abu Kamsin, trained by Mrs. Mercy Rymel and ridden by Richard Lindley. Second was number 1, Boreen Prince, owned by Mr. W.J. Lenihan, trained by Andrew McNamara and ridden by Boots Madden. And third was number 10 for auction, owned by Mr. Dano Heslip, trained by Michael Cunningham and ridden by Mr. Colin Magnier. 3 lengths and 7 lengths, and officially fourth was number 3, Broadsword. And the prospect of a great family double here with Gay Chance, the brother to Gay Brief, due to compete here tomorrow. Gay Chance to compete for the Sun Alliance Chase. So Sheikh Ali Abu Kamsin, the leading owner, now with the possibility of achieving a very, very rare double, since he's represented by $50 more in the Cheltenham Gold Cup on Thursday. And how emphatically Gay Brief reversed those Jerry Fielden hurdle placings with Royal Vulcan, who was bitterly disappointing to his connections today. Gay Brief by Lucky Brief out of Artist Gay, who has just never stopped producing winners. The marvellously consistent record this season. I seem to have been saying that about most of the winners this afternoon, but it is a fact. He's won 5 of his 6 races, the second of his only other one. And a well-deserved reception for this splendid locally trained 1983 hero of Hurdling's Classic. Bittersweet moment this for Mercy Rymel. How proud Fred would be of her. And the starting prices as follows.
First number 11, Gay Brief, 7-1. Second number 1, Boreen Prince, 50-1. And third number 10, For Auction, 3-1 joint favourite. First Gay Brief, 7-1. Second Boreen Prince, 50-1. And third For Auction, 3-1 joint favourite. The jackpot number there was 311.
Mercy there with her winner of the race, which her late husband won so many years ago as a jockey on Brains Trust. And the proud owner, immensely enthusiastic owner, the Sheikh, who also has horses, of course, with Fred Winter, who trains his Gold Cup Hope, $50 more, and with Les Kennard, who was responsible for his other runner, Migrator, there. His whole family, the Sheikhs, immensely enthusiastic about this great British winter sport. Like so many members of his family, Gay Brief, a horse of unlimited potential, only a 6-year-old. If he sticks to this game, he may well do us a Ken and win 3 in a row there. In fact, with Mercy, Tim Maloney, just behind the horses with us, you'll see John Oaksey and Tim there talking to Mercy. Tim, who himself won 4 champion hurdles in succession. 3 of them on that great horse, Sir Ken, with whom he forms a marvellous partnership. It's just being hidden a little there by John Oaksey, Tony Fairbairn in the foreground, talking to the Sheikh.
Well, a fast-run champion, Tula Bula, he's really got the others at it, particularly the champion. The horse is under pressure there, and the champion hurdler for Auction out of the picture and not able to go the pace. There he is being pushed along.
Yes, for Auction has been under pressure, even going up the hill on the far side. There's Ekbalco, even at that stage, had a lot to do and wasn't going that well. He made a mistake at this one, three out.
And the winner's going clearly by far the best here, isn't he, on the inside?
The winner is absolutely cantering, has been all the way.
Royal Vulcan a long way back on the right of the picture, just in front of him, Ekbalco. They've never really got into it.
No, Royal Vulcan never got in the race.
That's him on the right. Ekbalco made a mistake at that one, and they're out of it now. And at the second last, Richard's got his hands full, hasn't he?
Richard is cruising. It isn't very often this happens in a champion hurdle, but I think he probably thinks he's arrived there too soon. There's still a long run in and 1 to jump, and he usually holds his horse up pretty late. But there was never a doubt.
Well, he'd only got to jump this here, hadn't he?
He only got to jump it, which he didn't. He's fallen through it, sort of staggered. But he gets away from it, and he just hands and heels, which is a great way to see any horse winning a champion hurdle with your hands and heels.
And for Auction, only 5th there, but he's still run on well enough to be 3rd.
For Auction's run on well, we take Balco and Broadsword. They've run on to be 3rd, 4th and 5th, with Boring Prince has run a great race to be 2nd.
Well, a great triumph for Richard Linney. Here's Jonathan Powell.
Richard, congratulations. Was it as easy as it looked?
Yes, it was actually. I couldn't believe how well I was going at the second last, and nothing actually coming to me. And I've jumped the second last well, and I've got committed then, and I've had to go. I didn't jump the last quite as well as I'd like, but stayed on really well up the hill.
Did you take a chance to peep over your shoulder to see where the others were?
I didn't actually. I didn't. I had a little peek just going to the second last, but I just kept hoping that winning post would come.
And no problems at all with the race?
No, I had a smashing run round. I couldn't have had a better rider if I'd gone out for an afternoon's hack.
Did you possibly believe he could win as easily as this?
No, I didn't, quite honestly. I thought probably for Auction and Ekbalco were the 2 I had to beat. As it's turned out, I've won really easily.
And how do you see him for a couple of more years? I mean, any reason why he shouldn't win it again?
No reason at all. No, it must be good for another couple of years.
And he can cope with softer ground?
Yes, he can, yes.
How are you planning to celebrate tonight?
Well, just have an early night. I've got a day's work tomorrow. I'm riding in the first at Newton Abbot and then riding in the last here, so I'm not going out. I'll celebrate at the end of the festival.
Richard, congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Well, remarkable, the ups and downs of National Hunt racing. Last weekend, no one more depressed than Richard Lindley after the death of Deep Wealth. But here now, winner of the Waterford Crystal Champion Hurdle. And there you can see the trophies that go to the winning connections. The large trophy there, the magnificent crystal glass trophy to go to Sheikh Ali Abu Khamsin. That's him on the right with the white carnation there. A relative newcomer to National Hunt racing, but outstandingly the leading owner this season. Next to him, his remarkable trainer, Mrs. Mercy Rymel, in only her 2nd season as a licence holder. And there in the foreground, Richard Lindley, the Sheikh's private jockey, the only such position in National Hunt racing, a privately contracted jockey. This presentation to take place any moment. Let's now join Peter O'Sullivan in the unsaddle.
The magnificent trophy valued at £2,600 as part of the prize for which the Waterford Glass Company will contribute a total of £30,000.
Since Waterford took over. And we welcome to Cheltenham today Paddy McGrath.
And Mrs. Paddy McGrath, the wife of the chairman of Waterford Glass, to present the trophies.
Mrs. McGrath to present the Challenge Cup and Crystal Trophy.
The principal trophy to Sheikh Ali Abu Khamsin. It's Paddy McGrath with Mrs. McGrath. And there are trophies also for both the winning rider and the winning trainer.
And the trophy too for the winning trainer,
These fine
Mrs. Mercy Reinl.
Waterford Crystal trophies, and Mercy Reinl receives hers.
And the trophy to the winning jockey, Richard Lindley.
And applause for Richard Lindley. What a great job he's made of his contract with the Sheikh. And what a possibility of achieving that rare and elusive double when he rides $50 more in the Toad Cheltenham Gold Cup on Thursday.